Hi friends, my name is Grisel with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, you chose this image on the right-hand side of the screen. And today we're going to read about your personal brand, your personal magic coming to light, even to you. I feel like a lot of times, most of us feel unseen or unappreciated, and I'm here to change that. Plus, I asked Spirit what to read on. I threw out different topics, and this is what Spirit liked the most. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and mix your card, your personal brand, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile number 1, your brand of magic and how people see it or how people are afraid of it or experiencing it. Let's see. You have the Page of Hazards. You have the 5 of Cups. Right away, pile number 1, I feel like what's being experienced currently, your brand of magic has people tied up. They have people waiting unread, waiting on a response, waiting for communication. This little zombie guy is definitely, I mean, they're like, okay, I'm waiting for airmail. I'm waiting for snail mail, a text, a response, smoke signals, something, okay? And right here, pile number 1 is people are mourning. Mourning not having seen you, having slept on you is actually the first thing that I heard. So I also feel like this little skeleton back here is privy to that. I feel like your spirit knows that. People that have slept on you in the past are actually mourning. So let's see what else that we have. Your brand of magic. This came out in the pre-shuffle. So you could be very skilled with words, very clear, very concise. It could seem aggressive at times. For those that are not used to being confronted with reality, it could seem that your brand of magic is here to clear debris on people that are delulu, okay? Let's not kid ourselves. Your brand of magic also invites, pushes, and reveals a desire and a need for introspection. So whatever this is, people are really experiencing the need to go within, the need to withdraw from outside noise, social circles, social circumstances. This is like skipping happy hour, going to dinners, and so on and so forth, and really gaining a little bit of light on what is going on within them. And actually, I love this. So your brand of magic shines, and it reveals the 9 of Cups. So I feel like you could be of the school of hard knocks, such as myself, pile number 1. Welcome, welcome. And I'm just going to say that I feel like for you, you have been an observer for a long, long time. You withheld a lot of what you observed, or maybe perhaps you were, because I'm getting something about childhood or being young, younger than most people. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. A Page of Hazards right here, right? And so maybe perhaps you were simply younger, and unfortunately, at least in this society, we don't really respect a lot of our children, right? We just tend to be like, hey, do as I say, not as I do. Or we revert to whatever the latest trend is over parenting, helicopter parenting, which I, by the way, resemble that remark. Ouch. So, pile number 1, I'm not saying that nobody has flaws and that we're, all perfect, but I definitely feel like what you don't understand or see right now, and simultaneously, what's being revealed to other people is that your words have a lot of truth in them. It can bulldozer. It is here for a reason. It can be intimidating, but your words cut deep for a reason. And that you're sent here on a mission, in other words, on a mission to really help people to deal with what is within, right? I feel like a lot of our problems are I don't want to say easily solved at all, but excuse me, a lot of our problems are caused by us medicating on outside stimuli. I mean, for example, a lot of, at least in the US, we drink coffee, we drink, energy drinks, so on and so forth. And I definitely feel like what people are really realizing about your brand of magic is that you have forced someone to go within. And this could have like Virgo, I don't know, traits or characteristics, but you help them to go within and go on a journey and really suss out what is important, what is really helping their trajectory, are they on the right track, and so on and so forth. And I don't feel like initially they experience your brand of magic like that. It could again seem kind of like, ouch, that was really kind of harsh, or I felt bulldozered, or you told me something in a manner that hurt my feelings. I feel like that's what the outside world would say. Now, pile number one, sometimes we just don't have time for the kid gloves. Sometimes also, by the time that people are willing to listen to us or hear us, we're kind of fed up and we're done. We're done with the gentle feeding. We're done with the baby bird syndrome of let me spoon feed you. Let me present it in different manners. Let me help you understand, whatever this is. Because I feel like you could be a true speaker, and you could also, with the Page of Hazards, just really show people your personal brand of magic is that you show people that there is merit in being patient and going within, and that you reflect those things on the outside to other people, but people could not hear you, okay? So the reason why this is so important, and people are currently, right now, whenever right now is to you, because these readings are timeless, what they're appreciating or understanding about your brand of magic is that this not only is bringing you happiness and peace, but that you have the path and the way to help other people experience happiness and peace and joy. So let's just see if we can get a little bit more information right here, please. Your brand of magic. How does this shine and how is this revealed? Tell me a little bit more about this. Because I feel like you're understanding at last and you're finally embracing this part of you, whatever this is, right? And other people are understanding, this would be people from the past, right? But even currently other people that are around you, they're understanding that now your words are taking fruit. That the same way that a farmer plows the ground, not that I know a lot about farming, plows the ground and, one waters, one plants seeds, one, allows, oh, that's water, yeah, Grisel. Allows for the sunshine and so on and so forth. You've done your part in helping other people to grow or to be engaged in an awakening. Because I feel like with the Hermit card, it is deep awakening. I feel like you wake people up. You could have tower energy. Pile number one, no shade on you because I definitely have tower energy. So let us see more about, yeah, look, oh my goodness, you saw me pull these on camera, okay? So pile number one, your personal brand of magic definitely is being very powerful. It is a little bit like one of these to the head, right? I don't want to say it because I always get in trouble for the things that I say, right? Go figure. The Knight of Swords, for being too concise, too sharp with my words, a little bit too direct. Maybe my metaphors are a little bit too on point. But pile number one, I feel like you're one of those people that you have a lot of rounds, a lot of ammo, right? In other words, and whatever it is, I feel like it really ingrains itself, it embeds itself within the mind. And now I'm also seeing a little bit like this, I guess imitating a little bit like the parasitic thoughts, right? I feel like you could kind of implode those entirely. I feel like you're a great revealer, a true speaker, a true sayer. I feel like you're an underdog, and definitely I feel like once upon a time you were undermined. Again, your voice was not heard. It wasn't feeling like it was worth a lot. And now people are out there begging for your voice, begging for your guidance. I feel like a lot of you guys can be that person that was forced to be maybe quiet or just by nature was quiet growing up and so on and so forth. And then when you grew up, you're kind of like, okay, balls to the walls. We're going to do this. We're just going to, sorry about the crassness, but I feel like pile number one, you definitely set people's world afire, okay? But really, in here, I feel like in a lot of ways, this is designed to protect and serve. So something about you could be very much, it could appear militant, but your desire in your heart is really to save, rescue, to really wake up and shake up people around you. And it's an incredibly noble cause, by the way. So we're going to get some different cards right here. So your brand of magic shines. It reveals, it exposes. Your brand of magic is right now, actually, I feel like some of you guys could be profiting off of this. Your brand of magic could be, for example, some of you guys are in the speaking industry. Is that even a term? But you could be doing TED Talks. You could be like inspirational coaches or life coaches and so on and so forth. You could be a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. You could be the bestie that people come to just for free therapy, right? You could be the hairdresser. So it's so many different things, but your brand of magic is shining. Valley, deep personal strength and peace that assures success. Yeah. And I feel like palette number one, you've undergone monumental changes. You've overcome things that people feel like there's no way that I could have survived this. If you tell your story, other people are shook. Now, based on this, I feel like people are starting to understand that with you, with your counsel, with your observations, with even taking a fraction of what it is that you have said or understood, they could actually make maneuvers in order to really improve their lives as well. And I feel like you're not somebody who has soft hands. What I mean by that is you're not a little bit like me, you know. You're just going to say it like it is because it's just easier. And we don't have time to be a tenderloin here to really, you know, hold people's hands and make sure that their hearts aren't so sad at the truth. New home, new attitude. Yeah. I feel like you help people to really clean things up. Your brand of magic shines, and it is here to really reveal how people can really glow up, show up for themselves, and stand up for themselves, really. Broken ring, parting of the ways in either romance or business. Yeah. So I feel like this definitely ties in here because this is almost like breaking a contract, right? When you break a ring, well, metaphorically, when you break a ring, this is about breaking contracts. And I feel like you are really quick to figure out what it is that needs to be broken, what needs to be changed. And actually, this ring is still quite valuable. You can, if it's gold, in theory, melt it down and create more things out of it. But its structure currently is no bueno, and that is your brand of magic. 11:11 on the clock right now is exposing what doesn't work, how to reconfigure, how to circumvent and really put things together in a way that is a lot better for you, for people around, and you hold no punches. Yeah. So pile number one, stubborn and aggressive person. Yeah, I feel like you could have been taken as you, and still could be taken as somebody who's stubborn, who's aggressive, who's like, okay, my way, the highway. But really, isn't it much easier, pile number one, to just agree with people? Isn't it so much easier to be like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh, cool. That's awesome. And how do I know this? Because I've done that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. But I've made my observations. And when I realized that my 2 cents wasn't worth anything in other people's eyes, then I switched strategies because I'm somebody who thinks that way, right? And this is, I'm talking about my whole journey so far. And so I just switched strategies. I'm like, well, maybe if I agree, maybe if I acquiesce, maybe things will go easier. Maybe I won't suffer as much or other people won't, or things will come together and they'll realize, well, no. I feel like pile number one, your brand of magic is to be brutally honest, is to be a little bit like a bull, or a little bit like the ram, right? An aggressive and stubborn person. I feel like if you form an opinion and it's like somebody hiring you and saying, okay, make an assessment on my business. And then you do, and you come back with charts and with stats and with demographics and with, you know, timelines and things like that. And you're like, this is a flow chart. This is what worked. This is what doesn't. This is why. If you change these 3 things, business, you will experience a glow up. You will actually provide a really safe cornerstone in order for this to really progress and flourish even more than it has, right? And pile number one, I definitely feel like that wasn't taken into account. I feel like that people took things personally. They got in their feels. They got into a stubbornness of their own, like, no, you're wrong. And, you know, been there, done that as well. But the biggest message today is that your personal brand of magic is really being experienced by other people, and the fact that they're starting to see it finally. I feel like the wake up, the shake up, the whatever you implanted that in their brain, you know, the words that you spoke, maybe that really hurt some feelings, ouch, right? Once upon a time is now taking root, is now taking a hold of that person, and they're starting to see, wow, this is how I can escape the matrix. This is how I can really prepare for the future. This is how I can experience my own glow up. This is how, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't come without a cost. And I feel like the cost is being experienced right now by the people, the very people that you try to rescue with your words. I mean, again, it can go back to, it's so much easier to be like, oh, okay, and keep it moving and stay in your lane, that sort of a thing. But the people that you deeply care about, the people that you show up for, that you glow up for, and the reason why, I don't want to say the only reason, but one of the reasons why that you are here incarnated into this very timeline is simply because you were meant to affect these people. I don't believe there are any accidents. We come across people for a reason. And now they're starting to really understand that, wow, I should have done that work way back when. Wow, I should have really taken that. You know, it's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. No. I feel like not with you. You're done with that. You're done with coddling and holding and, you know, trying to, again, paraphrase everything that you do or rephrase it. You're just kind of done. And this is how your brand of magic is being experienced in November. Yeah, I feel like the thaw, well, that's interesting because it's still snowing in November, but something about thawing out, something about the roots, and this could have to do with like your family tree, your lineage, or things that you really tended to that you thought was going to grow, relationships, friendships, situationships. This is ex-boyfriends, ex-friends, and things like that. Keep in mind, we all know that people are in our life sometimes for a reason and maybe just a season, but something about November, you could have a November birthday, or yeah, but I feel like these people are really experiencing your brand of magic as being potent, as being true, as also something that they're regretting not really adhering to before. And now I'm seeing actually out in the forest, I'm seeing this tree branch. It looks like a wing, and the wing is pointing to the right. To me, that is always to the future. And I feel like whatever it is that you warned people about, I mean, they're having a really tough time about this. That is, you know, we're not here to wish demise or anything on other people, but I just want to, I'm here to reassure you that what and who you are and your personal brand of magic is incredibly important, that you are here for a reason that nobody else can fulfill. Nobody can fulfill this. This is your purpose in life. So however this applies to your life, you know, feel free to claim the message and take parts of it that fit, and the rest of it, just keep it pushing. Not a big deal. That's all I have for you. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, pile number 2. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot. Thank you so much for being here. You chose this image on the right-hand side of the screen. Pile number 2. I'm hearing, for whatever reason, pile number 3. Now, we're not even there yet. My guides are all eager, and maybe you have a message there as well. But pile number 2, I'm going to say your brand of magic, and we want to experience and leave this open to spirit. Your brand of magic is shining. It shines. How is it experienced, revealed, and shown? So anything about your personal brand of magic, we're here to talk about it, and I'll see you after your shuffle. Pile number 2, your brand of magic. How is it seen, felt, or heard? We want to know anything about your brand of magic, which is why maybe the intro is a little bit confusing. But pile number 2, thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it. The Hermit. So we have this coming out for you. This came out in pile number 1. Pile number 2, we have the King of Wands. We're going to see how this fits into your narrative and your brand of magic. Pile number 2, you have the Two of Swords. You have the King of Swords. And you have the Ten of Hazards. It's so funny because I'm starting to get a little bit of commonalities, common themes in all of these readings. But right now, I feel like you are definitely somebody who is also a true speaker and a innate slayer. I feel like pile number 2, You could have Virgo characteristics, have Virgo somewhere in your chart, or be a Virgo, regardless. With the King of Wands right here, I feel like people are starting to understand your personal power, your personal fire, your personal brand of magic. And part of that is also that you've really done a lot of work, gone deep within. You've done a lot of shadow work is what I'm hearing. Now, I also feel like what's being revealed about your magic is that this has been a little bit on the clock. It's a little bit slow in developing. And people understood that you are magic, even if this is like past people. I feel like now they're just starting to understand with the passage of time, like how this all fits into their own timelines. So with the Two of Swords right here, I definitely feel like pile number 2, you know, the 2, this is probably a card that impacted me the most right here, is that you have this ability to go ahead. I mean, he's crossing his arms over his heart, right? This person is even blindfolded. And I feel a little bit like the scales of justice, trying to put things in a balance. And I feel like you really do weigh things impartially. You definitely have a brain, a mind that really tries to do things with not a ton of emotion behind it. You know, obviously we feel that emotion because the Two of Swords is all about holding and shielding these emotions. We have to make a decision, so on and so forth. But I feel like you help people and you teach by example that people really have to be more in their mind, not led by their emotions, not having these knee-jerk reactions. And the one example that I'm being led to is online. You know, we have a lot of things online that really is meant to evoke. It is slanted. A lot of it is propaganda. In fact, if you travel to different countries, you'll hear different messages about the same thing even, or even different point of views on different channels, right? If we're here on YouTube. But I'm here to tell you that pile number 2, something about you really helps people to get back into their logic, get back into the basics of 2 + 2 = what, right? And I feel like that's where you really hit the mark with people. And you could have once upon a time seemed cold and calculated, but your brand of magic brings trophies. Your brand of magic makes people stop, stare. I feel like also you've really affected like the things that you've done with your hands. In other words, like any businesses that you've created or your labor of love or the toiling that you've doing, whatever you have developed a lot of time into. This could be hobbies, this could be hunting, this could be, I don't know, trying to find gems and so on and so forth, or even thrifting and trying to you know, utilize whatever you find in thrift stores to recycle, upcycle, and then you resell, that sort of a thing. But I feel like people are really understanding that you have an incredibly intellectual mind, that yeah, you have emotions too, but you're going to take care of what's logical first in spite of your emotions, even if that winds up like hurting you in the short term or other people. Why? Because you have things to protect. And it winds up being because out of love, you do these things. People are starting to understand that you're not mechanical, you're not robotic, you're not a mean person, that sort of thing. Pile number 2, you could really be somebody who is incredibly misunderstood. I feel like maybe you were even demonized. Maybe you even took action that really didn't make any sense to other people because you did have or do have a family to protect. The 10 of Hazards is the Pentacles. And this is all about happy wife, happy life, that kind of a thing. And, you know, we don't have to adhere to tradition. That's your life is your life. But I feel like you put a circle of encampment, a circle of protection around those that you love and that you are here to protect and serve. And also that you have implemented different cogs in the wheel in order to make that happen for family. And maybe perhaps your wife or your husband, they were kind of like, oh, we don't see you as much. Why are you always working? Why are you always traveling? Why are you always, you know, kind of questioning your love, your devotion, whatever. And pile number 2, I'm just here to say that these are misconceptions they have. And now they're starting to see that this brand of magic that you had the foresight to do all of these things for these people were for their own protection, their own benefit. And I feel like you're helping them to really think like you. I'm hearing think like a man. Some of you guys could be into that book, right? So something about the 10 of Hazards, and this is something that you want to pass on to your family lineage and so on and so forth. So I feel like if you were the absentee person or provider for the family, your family's starting to really understand and realize that you do this for them, that it's a genuine thing. It's not an escape for you to want to run away and labor late into the night and not participate, so on and so forth. Maybe you could be a little bit obsessive. I resemble that remark. But pile number 2, I definitely feel like your brand and magic also is setting fire to those around. They are starting to see that you've developed, honed, and really chased after skills in order to make things work, in order to put things together. And this, ironically, TMI, pile number 2, this reminds me of my ex-husband. He cracks me up. We used to kind of get into, not arguments, but yeah, that too, these wrestling matches, because he would always kind of rig things or change things up. We'd buy something new, and then I would turn around and he modified it, quote unquote, and he had his tools out and, you know, for functionality, he would say. And then he would say, Priscilla, you don't care as long as things are aesthetically pleasing. And I'm like, dang right, right? But pile number 2, I'm going to say that he made things work, but it wasn't like it was pretty. And so your brand of magic could be that you know the functionality of a lot of things, the inner workings, the things that are difficult to do, difficult to even see the outcome of, but that they are totally functional. And that not only that, but it winds up providing more of a benefit, and it winds up inspiring other people around you. I kind of feel like this message got muddled, and I'm so sorry. It's just what I'm getting. It's a download right here. So pile number 2, I want to get a little bit more right here. Yeah, because a lot of thought, your brain could be like golden. You rely a lot on balance. I heard equanimity. And you also, not only don't you suffer fools, you're incredibly intelligent, but you're very passionate, right? So you could be very, very impassioned by your own desire, like one-track mind, that sort of thing. And you've had a lot of difficult decisions to make, but now people are starting to realize that your brand of magic really is to protect and serve. Almost, I keep getting like law enforcement. Some of y'all are in law enforcement out here, are you? To protect and serve. And yeah, even like you're taking the hits. You're like, okay, I'll be the villain in the story. Once upon a time, I had a boss who is a regional manager, and he would just send me to all of the seedy places in Phoenix, basically, in order to clean up the stores. And he's like, I want you to go here and, you know, do this, and crack heads, basically. And that was not easy. And whenever I came on site, and it wasn't like I was anybody big. It was just, you know, Gracel, go here. And I want you to kind of troubleshoot and tell me. And then I would report back, and I'm like, this is going on, and this is what needs to change. And he goes, well, do it. And then I'm gonna, you know, and I would turn around and I would say, well, these are the repercussions, you know, not limited to, but they're gonna hate me. Well, that's part of my job now, because you just made it my job. But I would report back and say, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen. This will take time, and it'll smooth out, and it'll work. These other things, you know, are gonna be more difficult to deal with, and I don't think that's the best way to handle it. And sometimes he would say, just crack heads. And I would go in like a bull in a china shop and just do what I was told, because I'm kind of a soldier like that. So pile number 2, I don't know why I told you that story, but here we are telling it. And once again, the element of time. I feel like your brand of magic has been very slow and steady, methodical. And I feel like you have reaped the rewards in the financial realm in that way. And maybe you are still benefiting because you are that soldier that you get up and you do as you need to do. But also take heart, because I feel like people are experiencing this in a manner that they're like, wow, I didn't realize that, you know, when I grew up, if you had children and you protected them, that, you know, this is what it's like to really be an adult. Not that you didn't prepare them, but you shielded them from a lot of ramifications of things like they can't really focus on, you know, playtime or whatever, because they're in fear of moving or not having sustenance to take care of themselves, you know, not having enough food to eat, whatever. So that was long-winded. What do we have here? Yeah, what? The Ace of Swords. You guys, on this channel, I feel like I'm definitely getting a lot of people that are kind of regimented, but I feel like you speak the truth and nothing but the truth. I feel like your brand of magic can cut to the quick, but it is a bullseye. I feel like your brand of magic also is a little bit deceptive. Like, people think that you want to fight with them, and you're like, no, I'm actually on your team, but you don't know it yet. And pile number 2, I think this is a beauty of you. Your brand of magic is that you cut through the quick. You're willing to even allow this sword to cut through you as well, metaphorically. And I'm going to say that now that is being appreciated, that people are starting to see for a fact that, wow, pile number 2 wasn't against my relationship, my friendship, my whatever ship, that they were here to help me to experience my 9 of Cups, my desire, my dreams, whatever it is that I want into fulfillment. Now, pile number 2, I also feel like you are not one to just dream pie in the sky and not go after it. I feel like you motivate, move, compel. Ooh, I heard destroy people who just want to sit in Fantasyland, Fantasylandia, right? They want to just sit there and think, oh, I can think my way into it. It's like magical thinking. And yeah, I have a little bit of that too. But let me tell you, pile number 2, that you are somebody of action. And that's because I have the King of Wands right here. You suffer no fools. And you're going to be like, what? You want this? You want that vacation? This is how we do it. This is how we do it. So again, you have a lot of ammo, but I feel like you point out the truth. It's like you can't, cuddle and wear a bikini under this blanket and just dream wish upon a star, that sort of a thing. You got to take some action, some accountability, some responsibility in order to move forward with this dream, this notion. So that is another way that people are really experiencing your brand of magic. What? Are you a shark? That's what's up. Pile number 2, take care or there will be a loss of material wealth. Yeah, I feel like you are able to see that, like coming a mile away, and you prepare for things, you protect. Again, protect, serve, love. You could have warned people about, you break through delusions. You break through, well, it'll get better with time, or we're not in a, I don't want to get political, but, recession, or things are going to improve. You break through those barriers and you think, oh, logically, well, what if not? What if, you're being told isn't the truth? Or what if they are wrong? You have to be logical about things. You have to prepare for whatever it is. So you are somebody who is very pragmatic, and the moves that you make, hands down, prove to be valuable, down the road. You got a lot of number 9s. I'm seeing 10 right here as well. So I feel like you have had a lot of endings, a lot of near endings, and you're at the near end of being misunderstood, of your personal brand of magic being demonized. I'm gonna say that just keeps coming through. So I got to tell you, club, yeah, someone will try to make you do something against your will. And that leads me back to the example of, my boss. And we just had some good old times. I have to laugh because, anyways, somebody will make you do something against your will. Yeah. And I mean, you could be that person that you're like, you get sent into the trenches. Hey, you need to do this, and you do. But you can see things coming a mile away and you prepare for it. Yeah. You've climbed mountains that other people have no idea. You've overcome challenges. You have come to the other side, quote unquote. And with that, pile number 2, I definitely feel like you have connections, right? I feel like you could be incredibly connected to the other side, to spirit, and so on and so forth. I'm not getting a ton of like spiritual messages because your personal brand of magic, it's being experienced in real time in the 3D, and what makes people feel secure. The differences that is out there versus when they're with you or close to you. Or I see, I just got a message and I got distracted. So I got a thumbs up and it looked like I was being flipped off, which with my character could go either way. Who knows? But pile number 2, major challenge to overcome. Yeah. So you've overcome massive challenges, but during those challenges, you have really honed a skill that you have, like, I don't know, I feel like hunter moves, hunter vibes. Like you could feel, the presence of the elk over here. And so you're going to kind of camp out and wait and sure as shooting, you're going to see the whole, the whole family there. However that goes. I'm not a hunter. But I feel like you have an overview, you have insight, you have been tried and true, you have skills, you have seen that when you don't take things in a very pragmatic way, people will suffer, and you're not for that. And so I feel like very practical uses of your time management, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but all of these things are being revealed to people that you love, and also people that have been left behind. Pile number 2, danger, especially in money matters. Yeah, so I feel like you are somebody who has been able to warn people something about finances, or even dangers lurking in the dark, things that are unseen. And you could be, again, truth tellers. You could be somebody who gets a little bit demonized by the things that you speak on. And definitely I feel like you guys don't go with a narrative of like public belief. You're kind of like, yeah, that sounds like hogwash, and I'm gonna tell you why. You know, it could be pie in the sky. We're all getting, let's say we're all getting free dinner tomorrow, and it's being delivered by magical thinking, and you think, well, I have a family right here to protect, to serve, to take care of, and that's great if we get that free whatever, but I'm gonna be very pragmatic and plan as if not. Yeah. Pile number 2, you are listening to a call. You are definitely listening to a call. I feel like also when you speak, people are starting to listen. This is attention. So front and center, right? Front and center, soldier. I feel like you could be calling people, I shouldn't even say that, but here we are. You could be calling people to arms. I don't know what this is, but I feel like you could have a mission, and other people are really understanding that there is a need for this. So whatever higher calling you have, that calling is being heard, and people around you are starting to wake up, starting to understand it. And this could work on so many different levels. And I just feel like you're going to know what your own brand of magic is. But whatever you warn people about, whatever you prepare for, whatever it is, and how it is that you have really tried to help other people, all of a sudden your brand of magic is being recognized, acknowledged, and people are feeling a bit frantic. I ain't gonna lie. So that's what I have for you. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, Pal 3. Welcome to my channel. Super excited that you're here. Super excited to read for you. Today is a different day. I did take a 2-day break in between. Pile 1, 2, and 3. So we're reading your personal brand of magic and how it affects other people. How is it felt? How is it looked at? And so on and so forth. Without further ado, let's get started to the shuffle. Pile number 3, your personal brand of magic. You have the 5 of Cups. You have the Page of Cups. You have the 10 of Swords. That is powerful. Now, during the shuffle, I did get a jump, and one of the cards I noticed that came out was the Death card. So pile number 3, I feel like you are massive transformational energy. Like, I think pile number 1 was also the Walking Tower. It's that energy that comes into your life, and it just sweeps and levels everything that people know and think about themselves to be true. Anything that they have built upon, I feel like it becomes challenged immediately. With the 5 of Cups, I feel like you're basically a walking revelation, a truth speaker. I also feel like with the 5 of Cups, people can understand that what they're enjoying for the moment, that, okay, that phrase, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, that kind of a thing. I feel like you bring that into the forefront of people's minds, and you realize how, you help them realize how frivolous that can be. The things that we focus on day to day, the things that we prize. Fundamentally, I feel like people understand and see that this is like child's play. It is nothing. Now, with the Page of Cups, I definitely feel like you are an empath. Pile number 3, you're somebody who definitely absorbs energy. And I feel like long after you're gone, your energy lingers upon people. I feel like they're left with the 2 of Cups facing them, basically looking at deep friendships, deep connections, soulmate connections, things like that. And not necessarily in the romantic way, but I feel like people question and start thinking, you know, why am I hanging out with this person who has nothing in common with me and is basically going nowhere? You know, is, I don't know, doing things in a self-destructive manner and I'm just killing time. And literally when I hang out with them, I think I'm only killing time, that sort of a thing. So I feel like you help people to wake into the fact that there are elevated ways of thinking, ways to get into connection with your heart, with your soul, and ways to live in a manner that you can express love to everyone, even people that don't really serve your purpose, or people in situations that are not good for you. You can respect and love them and teach them a different way of being. With the Ten of Swords, pile number 3, I definitely feel like you've not had it easy. But I also feel like you've had to, and this is the quintessential, like a Ten of Swords endings, massive endings, right? This is a massive ending where maybe perhaps with the swords, it really ingrained into your brain that people were talking negative things about you, that there was a savagery in your life, that sort of thing. And your personal brand of magic is seeing that when you actually do cut off those parts that don't serve you, the parts that maybe are attracting, negative entities towards you, or you're attracting the wrong person and dating and so on and so forth, you utilize those lessons and help teach other people that there's a different way of doing things, okay? So let's see what else we have right here. Hello again. Yeah. Okay, so this perhaps does have to do with like really deep connections, soulmate connections, deep bonds of trust and love and so on and so forth. I don't know if you guys have seen this, deck on this channel before. I love this deck. It is called, what is it called? The Zombie Tarot. Best card of the entire deck is this right here. So the pinup actually ripped his heart out, and he doesn't care. He still loves her, and he's holding what looks like a bottle of perfume, and they're in a bed of thorns, of roses, and so on and so forth, right? So I feel like you help people to really get in touch with what is the deepest core of them, the real reality, and stop like playing around as if they have all the time in the world. And I'm being led to think of those memes that we say, the biggest problem is that you think you have time. Horribly paraphrased, but you get the point. So I feel like you create an urgency, and I feel like you have this way of doing things. You're like people's coffee. The people's coffee, you have the way of people, around you, like waking up and clearing out the things that just don't matter. Yeah, in order for other people to pursue their dreams, their desires, what it is that they actually really want. I do feel with the Star card, you could have star power. You could be somebody who your personal brand of magic is that you help people to see that everything in one's life can be really utilized and pivoted upon so that you can experience a glow up, a show up, a change. And I'm not saying that experiences are not painful. These are, things that are incredibly painful. But I feel like you channel that and transmute that into real power. Power that gives you momentum, that gives you drive, that also serves to inspire other people to really wake up. I'm being led to think about all like the massive topics in people's lives, like the ex-trafficking and survivors, and how they can turn around and become an inspiration to other people, and even a hope in a lamp in a dark world, and so on and so forth. This can be, that deep, or it could be as deep as having relationships where you really thought that people had your back, and you were kind of not listening to the red flags, not seeing them, and so on and so forth. And you find out that your buddies, your friends in school really didn't have your best interest, or they went their separate ways without even a second thought. And it served to, shatter that tower in your life, that they were somebody who is here for it instead of just here for a moment or a season. So I'd like to get a little bit more information about this, because I know it is a little bit ambiguous. Your brand of magic. Your brand of magic. How is it experienced? How does it shine? I do feel like you've had massive amounts of healing right here with the star quality coming out. Dancing to the beat of your own drum. Here's another healing thing. This can even stand for somebody recovering, from drugs or any addiction, basically. Drugs, sex, rock and roll, right? And I've shared freely on both of my channels. This is my second channel. My first one is called PsychicMD, by the way. Everything is in the description box below. But this right here really can even denote somebody who's put themselves through rehab or how to go through rehab and experience a massive transformation. And maybe perhaps you are somebody who talks freely about that, how you lend hope, how you extend even forgiveness for yourself and your mistakes, and so on and so forth, because nobody is infallible. And I feel like pile number 3, instead of just like, you know, hiding it or sweeping it under the carpet, that sort of behavior, we don't like to admit things about ourselves and our flaws and so on. I feel like you are somebody who really is learning to utilize this to kind of pivot. It's almost like I see one plank pulling up all the other planks on the floorboard to see what is really underneath. So, yeah, and you help people move on from that type of behavior so that they can experience calmer waters, because the 6 of Swords is definitely about taking your experiences, learning from them, right? When it's reversed, it's you're trapped in your mind, almost like the 8 of Swords. Pile number 3, what do we have for the... We have the 7 of Hazards. Yeah, you help people to really reevaluate everything about themselves in such a manner that they never would have thought they would wake up to, that they would show up to, or even show up for. And the biggest thing, pile number 3, is that I feel like you help people to wake up and show up for themselves. And that's incredibly powerful, because I feel like a lot of us can get programmed and be really robotic about what it is that we're doing on day to day. You know, it's like, well, keep the family together and we don't talk about this in public, and this is a family affair, or this is business and we just don't talk about it because other people are paying us, and we just have to toe the line, or this is the nature of this scenario. So I feel like all those fundamental things were challenging and breaking it up. I'm being shown even a jackhammer. So you could have a little bit of that, a lot of it of that energy. I feel that kind of, I don't want to say makes people stumble, but you help people just to wake up. And it's like, what have I really been doing with my life? Because I've been unhappy so far, or I've been not achieving, you know, what I really want and what makes me happy so far, because I'm trying to live a status quo that is unrealistic for me, or just not for me in general. Peacock, beware of great pride. And I feel like this falls in line with what we're talking about. I feel like you are actually a mirror to other people, to people around you. You help them to see that, you know, okay, buying clothes and things like that and dressing beautifully it's great. I feel like it bumps our self-esteem, so on and so forth. It's a way to really advertise, or I don't know, it's a way just to have fun in life and feel better and express what is going on the inside of us, right? But also taking pride in things that are important. I feel like you help people question, you know, is that important? And so on and so forth. So kneel and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. Yeah. And I feel like you have a desire and an ability to really wake people up again, shake people up out of their comfort zones. You are definitely somebody, I feel Virgo energy, even though I don't see it yet here, where you help people to go within and really examine, okay, is this really what I'm all about? Or is that it? Or do I have more potential? Or what is it that's driving me? Because once I achieve this goal and I get this PhD, or I get this master's, or I get this bachelor's, or whatever it is, or I get this job, or I buy this business, or I buy these properties, and I still feel like, okay, I got that, but I barely celebrate and I move on to the next thing. You know, the next goal. Is it constantly almost like that book, Who Moved My Cheese? If you haven't read it, it was a thing back in the day. So, you know, who keeps moving the goalpost? Is that you, pile number 3? Or is it someone else that's really, you know, like routine, or a template that you don't need in your life anymore, or you're trying to follow an example that isn't beneficial? So something about July, you could be a July baby. February, you could also be a February baby. And bouquet compliments from an admirer. Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing that people are seeing and understanding your brand of magic is that you've been dealt with cards that are not fun, not nice. But what you've done with that card is something of beauty. And I know I lose people at the 10-minute mark, but, well, they didn't stick around for the best part. Let's see a little bit more about the gift that your brand of magic is, what it shines, how it heals, and how it impacts others. We've got the 4 of Cups. going to get a little bit more information here. Let's pull on camera the Four of Cups. Yeah, you help people to address those times that they feel bored with their lives. And you're like, you know what? Take a chance. Take a chance on yourself. I mean, if you keep missing opportunities and things like that simply because you want to do the status quo, happy wife, happy life, the white picket fence, the job, the beautiful car, you know, everything aesthetically pleasing, except your soul is kind of like crumpled and wilting. That's not a good thing. And you are definitely somebody who is living by that. Now, I also heard that people are living vicariously through you. And with the Fool right here, this person is going into cemetery. And they're going to go ahead and encounter some zombies here, yeah. But they're going to go ahead and maybe have a little picnic. And then you see the vulture back here, you know, about to do business as well. So interesting. I never thought about the interaction between a vulture and a real zombie, right? So I do feel like you have that perception, though, that you shake up and wake up people. I think that this person is fully aware of who and what they are as opposed to what is coming to them or what's around them. I definitely feel like you're somebody who stands out. And you still bring a wreath of flowers, which lends like hope. That gives me like the number 21, which is the world and the tarot. This is successful accomplishments. This is, okay, been there, done that. Now I'm going to do for me what is best for me, what helps my soul to glow up, show up for myself, and also thereby creating a massive inspiration for people that are walking on, I heard auto-tune, maybe, who people, you know, give massive help to people who are just on autopilot, I guess is the word that I was thinking. So pile number 3, if you're liking this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Your brand of magic. What? You can't make this up. I hope you guys stuck to the end of the reading. We have the Two of Cups. You help people to really wake up to the fact that they need to head towards what is the best for them. I feel like in the situation that you have been in, many plural situations, you realize that, hey, one of these things is not like the other, like the old school Sesame Street. You realize that maybe perhaps your mind and your heart is very different. Your motive, the way that you eat, the way that you speak, the things that are important to you, and that your connections, you don't connect with people that, you know, eat kind of, I guess, everything the way that they were taught when they were growing up. You've thought about things and you're like, okay, I'm this blood type, I need to eat like this, or I'm cruelty free, so I'm going to eat this way, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, I don't know your life. But I definitely feel like you engage with people on a one-on-one, on a soul level. And I feel like you're somebody who strips people down to a soul level very quickly, by the way, and you help them to get to the heart of their own matter simply by example. And also maybe you do question their life choices. I don't know you, but I do feel like people compare themselves to you. People compare what is on your plate versus on what is on other people's plates. You serve to wake up people that are robotic and elevate themselves. Yeah, and you give people choices and options. You help them to really understand that, yeah, they do have a choice. They can remain asleep if they want to, or I heard they can wake the F up. We're not going to go there because it's only like 6 in the morning, and I'm trying to clean up my act. Pile number 3. You have the King of Cups right here. I definitely feel like you help people to get in tune with their emotions. And really, again, fundamentally, what is important? What's important to you, pile number 3? I feel like you've changed your life around in powerful ways. I feel like you've done this publicly, or it's been done publicly to you. Like an instance where maybe somebody was cheating or whatever, they were caught red-handed. You find out on TikTok, right? Because that's like the latest craze. Well, it's been like that for a while. Or any other scenario you found out and you had to make some massive decisions and it really affected your life and it affected other people's lives, or does affect other people because they see that, you know what, you've been able to make changes, incredible changes, and you've done it with the idea, with the thought, with the notion, and the desire to pursue your heart's desire, letting go of all that has been and embracing and welcoming the possibilities of what could be. And really getting down once again to the fundamental of what does your heart want? What does it need? Pile number 3, that's what I have for you. Thank you so, so much. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.